All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Matt, founder and CEO of LiveSchool, and this is the LiveSchool Podcast. Our guest today is Laura Spiegel, assistant principal at Beasley Elementary in Lamar CISD, and that's down in Rosenberg, Texas. Laura, you must have much better weather than I do up in the north right now.
Yeah, we're pretty good right now.
Yeah, awesome. Let's start by giving listeners just some of the awesome, fun stuff that your students are earning through your programs. I heard that there's a giant teddy bear prize that's popular with your students. Is that true?
It is, yeah. So that's one of the popular ones. It's huge. It's almost 6 feet tall and can't get your arms around it. Big, huge, giant stuffed teddy bear. We actually have 4 of those. And that's the highest prize that, requires the highest number of points. And everybody talks about that. We've brought the teddy bear to our video announcements and had the arms kind of wrapped around us, while we're giving our announcements. And so it's been fun just to have him show up at different places. And the kids are super excited about wanting to earn one of those.
You don't have like a giant teddy bear right off camera, do you, in your office?
No, I should have brought one.
That would be cool. That is awesome. Sounds like a mascot. That's really cool. And I heard you also had your first PBIS points party recently. How did that go?
We did. It was really good. So we changed from what we did last year. So this is our second year to run PBIS points. And the first year, I think you just always have to go into it knowing we're gonna do things that we want to change for sure. But you got to start somewhere, right? So last year, our points parties were a little bit too crazy. We had too many kids at one time in the area, and lots of things going on. And the kids loved it, the adults did not. So we changed that this year. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into a little bit of how they earned the points party. So it didn't cost them any points to go to it. They just had to earn a certain number of points, and then that got them entrance into the party. And so last year we did things like face painting and big, huge tic-tac-toe and glow-in-the-dark bowling. And it was awesome, just a little bit too crazy.
I love that.
Yeah. And the kids were happy with it. But so this year we changed a little bit. We made it happen during specials, so it doesn't take any time out of the content instruction part. And our specials team was really excited about that. And I can explain a little bit more later why they were excited, because it does make a difference about why. And they had a PE glow-in-the-dark party. They had a STEM party. So it was a lot of just building things in the library. There was a Mario Kart party that you could go to.
Wow.
And then there was an art party, and she had some fun things that they don't ever get to do listed for the art party. So everyone was real excited about it. They got to choose first choice. Most of them got their first choice, but yeah, it worked out really well.
Who's coming up with all these awesome themes? I love it. Mario, this is creative stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, our specials teachers, they really got on board this year. So last year, when we started our PBIS points, we looked at our data and discovered that our behavior, most of it was happening in 3 different places: the hallway, in specials, and at recess. And so we had formed a committee to decide we don't need to tackle everything. We need to work out all the kinks. So let's just pick one of those. And we decided hallway behavior. And so I can go into more of that later, but this year we decided we were going to tackle specials. And so that's going to support the specials teachers. They get to have some input in how many points the kids get. And so therefore they were like, yeah, we're willing to host the parties if we get to have input into the points. And they ran with it. They really wanted it to be something really fun. So not only do kids earn points in the hallway for having good behavior, but now when you come to art and you've cleaned up your supplies and you've stayed in your area and whatever, I think she had 3 rules, then you get 3 points for that day in specials.
Wow.
So yeah.
Definitely want to circle back to that a little later in the chat, because I know a lot of schools actually struggle the most with getting specials teachers on board into a school-wide system. So that's really cool. You've turned it into a strength. Let's just go back to the beginning. When did you first determine that, like, hey, we need to implement something a little more structured in the positive behavior department?
Well, when I became an AP, I was just jumping into all the files that I was supposed to be in charge of, and one of them is behavior, of course. And I kept coming across things that said PBIS, how we do PBIS here, and I'm like, I don't think we do any PBIS here. I don't know what that's about. And just like anything, it was probably rolled out several years ago and
Mm,
just kind of got lost by the wayside. So I'm a firm believer in positive behavior change. So rather than shaming a child
mm.
to not misbehave anymore, to really having them understand their behavior and want to do better. So went through my first year as an AP, not really knowing how I was going to make this change, and then second year, our district said we want everybody to start focusing on true PBIS. I'm like, okay, well, that's perfect. I was wanting to anyway. So it worked really well. And I knew we needed something also because when a teacher would write a student up and they would come see me, instead of me throwing a bunch of consequences at the student, I guess my style was a little bit different in that I want to talk through it.
Yeah.
Tell me what made you do that. Tell me how you felt afterwards. Tell me how you think other people felt. I just wanted to talk through it and see if they could come to their own terms of, yeah, that wasn't cool. And I feel like that was much better than any consequence. Now I would give something, but a lot of times it was more in terms of writing. Like, why don't you write out your reflection on how you felt about how things went, and if you need to put an apology in there, put an apology in there. So me doing that with my style, I thought it was working great, and then I started getting some feedback from teachers going, "Well, she's not giving any consequences. We need to have consequences." So I knew we needed a mind shift and that not all behavior requires a true consequence. Maybe it can be a loss of a privilege
Mhm.
that other students who are making wonderful choices, maybe that's their privilege, and our other students just need to think instead of getting a privilege.
So you went through a year of thinking, okay, maybe we should do something. Then the district sort of made the push. You're like, perfect, that's the opening. And I know you shared you started really focused, which jumped out to me because I would say one of the most common things that schools, I would say, leads to a sense of failure is they try to do too much. They start planning a new system. Everyone adds in ideas. Pretty soon it's a Frankenstein. No one knows what's going on, and it just fizzles. People say, oh, it didn't work. You all kind of did the absolute opposite, it sounds like, and really started like laser focused. So I'm just curious how that kind of came about.
Because I lived that first year and knowing this is my spirit of some kind of positivity in the world, and knowing that that's kind of it's we don't even have a whole lot of behavior problems here, but I think it was just the mindset of some of our teachers who are great people and great educators, but just that if you're going to misbehave in my class, I need you to have some kind of consequence.
Sure.
But then starting out slowly, I realized because I lived that first year, then I knew I've got a little bit of an uphill battle on changing a mindset. It's kind of like I love doing this analogy of rowing a boat. So years ago, we were on vacation, we were on a little canoe, and I'm very competitive, highly competitive. And so I was in the front of the boat, and all of a sudden I decided in my mind that this is a race. We're going to beat everybody else that's in a canoe. And that's just what we do because, other people do the same thing. And I'm rowing and and I'm telling everybody behind me, come on, come on. And I realized like other people are passing us. So I look back, and the guy in the back is one of our friends. The guy in the back of the boat is just kind of looking around like,
Facing out.
yeah, this is a cool thing. And I realized, where's your oar? And he lost his oar. And time with him. And then his wife right in front of him she didn't even know how to row. So it was almost dragging us down. And then my husband, who was right behind me, was rowing the wrong way because he saw the photographer. He wanted to go over to the photographer.
Yeah.
So it's just that is perfect in that you've got to get everybody on the same mindset first, the same page first. And then whatever you do is going to go right along smoothly.
And connecting the dots back to why you started small with a certain location in the building it seems like you saw the best path to get everyone in the right mindset to like have those small wins. So
Right.
everyone felt like, oh, okay, we're getting somewhere. And then you've been able to really build on that, it seems like each year.
Yes, because those three places, the hallway, recess, and specials. Recess, I mean, how are we going to keep kids from going crazy at recess? That's their crazy time, right?
Yeah.
Specials, it's in a classroom. We don't have cameras in there, but hallway, it's a quick transition and we can have
Mm,
cameras.
it's a
So,
solvable, manageable
yeah,
size problem.
yeah. And it was easier for teachers to chunk off that, like, okay, I just have to be on my game for this minute from A to B,
Mm-hmm.
watching my students. And after that, I don't have to be tracking things. It's just that short
Mm.
amount.
Yeah, it wasn't like maybe changing their instructional time on them. It was just kind of that hallway time. So
Yeah.
after you got that in place, when did attendance start becoming a key goal? Because that's been a major push for you all, right?
Uh, that has, yeah. So we don't have a ton of behavior problems, but we do have attendance problems. And so it was nice to see at the first year that we rolled this out that kids were getting excited about the teddy bears and about the other. We had Legos, like really expensive Legos. We put a bunch of money into this budget, and
Mm-hmm.
so
How much
a lot.
are you willing to share? Just curious.
Well, we put 5,000, but we went
5,000.
over.
All right.
Yeah, but
That's
we went
awesome.
over. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so a lot of, like, I don't know, Pokemon cards and even some Play-Doh, some smaller things, but some Dash robots. I'm sure people know about those if you're in education. So a lot of really good things. So the kids were getting super excited about it, about spending their own money. They felt like that was my money to
Mm.
spend. And so once we realized, okay, we got them hooked. Is there anything else? And this was during our first year. Is there anything else that we can use this momentum with just the students? And so
Mm.
we started realizing that, yeah, if you are here all 5 days in a week, you're going to get an extra, I think we did 3 points, and
Little
they worked
bonus.
for it. Yeah,
Yep.
they worked for it.
Just a big picture question. In your experience, do you think that attendance challenge, which definitely is not unique to your school, I mean, I think post COVID, so many schools are experiencing that. In your opinion, I'm just curious, do you feel like it's more, how much of a role do you think students play in their attendance versus the more factors outside their control, like transportation or sickness or, things
Oh, yeah.
that they can't? You feel like they really do have some serious sway in,
I think the majority of our kids probably are contributing to the attendance.
hmm
Tardies, no, that's
hmm
it's not our students' fault on tardies. It's not. But attendance, yeah, because some of them will say, "Well, I just was tired, or
mm
I didn't feel very good." I said it, told my mom I didn't feel very good. We've had parents say he wakes up and says, that his stomach hurts, and he just looks so cute, and so I let him stay home. And so I would say it's probably about half and half. That
Yeah.
in elementary, most of the time people say in elementary, no, it's the parents' fault, but we have some contributing factors.
And it sounds like that extra reason to be in school, that extra motivator, that extra thing they're excited about
Hmm.
can help move them from on the fence, oh, my stomach, to, oh, maybe my stomach's okay. And I just,
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
get up out of bed and get to school because I'm more excited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And I know you've also done some things in how you actually deliver your rewards to kind of like create some FOMO for students. I thought that was really neat just for other schools to hear about. You kind of know what I'm talking about. If not, I can give
Sure.
another
Yeah.
clue.
Well, no, I mean, some things, I mean, I think I know what you're talking about. So we, they could only ask or order their prizes on Mondays,
hmm
and then they got their prizes delivered on Fridays.
hmm
Wait, back that up. They could only order their prizes on Friday, and then they got it delivered on Monday, because we have that attendance problem on Monday and Fridays. And so if you're here on Monday before school starts, you have to be on time. So last year from 7 to 7:30 is when you can request a prize on your piece of paper. But at 7:29, the table goes away, everything goes away, and you've missed your opportunity to request your prize. So you may have earned enough points to get what you wanted, but you weren't here on time or you didn't show up on Friday. Then, even if you were here on Friday and you filled out the paper and turned it in and had enough points, Monday morning, my fifth graders would deliver all the prizes.
Love that.
And yeah, before school started. And teachers were told that if they are tardy, you put the prize back on the shelf, send it back to me, and it stays until the next Monday. So you had to be present and on
Who
time.
came up with all this? I've never heard that specific idea. I mean, we have seen like doing a delivery cart, which I think is just so cool, but never the idea of targeting it based on like days of the week that you're having, attendance challenges.
Yeah. I think that was my idea, just because I'm in attendance so much. And my previous background, this is my second career. So my previous background is in marketing, sales and marketing.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Restaurants always offer their best deals on Tuesdays because that's, a slow day for restaurants. So
got it.
I thought, why don't we do that Mondays and Fridays?
Bringing a little marketing twist into the school program. Love it. And you had mentioned about just getting specials teachers really bought in and excited. Anything else you want to cover there? Because you said maybe touching back on it, and that might be something others are struggling with a little bit.
Yeah. So last year, when we had our points party last year, the chaotic one, I heard one of our specials teachers stop by just to look, and he said, "That kid got to go to the party? How's that?" And so I'm like, well, that he had enough points, so we need to talk about that at our committee. And that teacher was in the committee. And so when I met with the teachers, the specials teachers, and said, let's talk about all the things that you are either frustrated about with behavior or the point systems or whatever. And so they did say, and this is something I think that all listeners need to hear too, that if you decide to do, whatever you decide to do, there has to be so much consistency. Like I am still preaching consistency constantly. I probably just need to get a shirt that says #
Hey, marketing.
Yes, exactly. Because they hear me say it all the time that if one teacher in one grade level does not do the points as much as another teacher, those students are going to lose hope in this program. They're not going to care. So then it kind of spreads. So we talked about how much consistency matters, because if you watch these transitions, I'm going to say that I'm a fourth grade teacher and I'm bringing my fourth grade students to specials. And I'm watching them the whole way down the hallway, and I'm monitoring them, and I'm doing my points. But now I leave them with the specials teacher and I walk away. Well, no longer is this person who's keeping points, keeping score, standing there. And so the students didn't think that they needed to follow the directions anymore. They weren't staying quiet. They weren't staying in line. And so the specials teachers were like, well, we have no power. It's only the homeroom teachers that have the power. And even when the teacher comes back and we say, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so started pushing around and shoving around when you left, she's already given them the point for making it from A to B. That was a valid concern. So we need special teachers to have some power in it. And so we did make a change that as soon as the students get there, they go straight in. They don't wait in the hallway. They go straight into either art or music or PE or library. So we had to make that little logistic change. And then now, no longer does that specials teacher have to report back to the homeroom teacher. That specials teacher can pull up her own. She has her own account now. Say, so the 3 points that I'm going to give you include the hallway if they wanted them to. So until your teacher picks you up, you are still on the clock for me for getting 3 points. And so giving them some of the say-so. And okay, the other discussion was, I thought they were going to give 1 point. Specials teachers came back to me and said, we want to give 9 points.
They wanted some serious sway.
Yeah, they did.
It's a good problem, though.
Exactly. Yeah. And so their reasoning, it made so much sense, is that they are spending a minute in the hallway versus 45, 50 minutes with the specials teachers. I get it.
Yeah.
I said, but what that would do is shift so that the students would have to behave better for you and no longer in the hallway to still get some serious points. Yeah. We can't shift it the pendulum that much. So we agreed on 3 points, which still gives them some skin in the game that students can get 15 points easily each week if they just do what they're told in special.
I love that. I think it's such a cool story showing how it's kind of a tool to have some of those negotiations and kind of like
Mhm.
make sure everyone's being incorporated in the overall
Yeah.
plan. That's really cool. I hope, and I'm sure everyone listening is doing a round of applause because it just shows how many different decisions and hard work go into like creating something school wide that is consistent, and that is just so awesome. I know you don't do it all alone. You've worked with a committee who helps kind of like tackle different questions that come up. Might be cool for folks listening to hear like what are some of the kinds of questions that committee gets thrown at them that they need to work through, and any good ones that have come up recently.
So there's one person from every grade level / team on the committee. So it's well represented. And I tell them I'm not going to make any decision outside of this committee. So they know they've got some power too. It won't be that we're going to do this and it's a blanket decision and nobody had any say so. It's going to be because you guys said this is what we're going to do, then this is what we're going to do. So a couple of those, one of them was our students have to carry around it's called a smart tag, their badge, all day, every day. And it's just what our district does. We have some students that will lose them and lose them again and lose them again and lose them again, and it doesn't really matter to them. So one of the teachers suggested, can we give a point at the end of the day? Well, can we give a point if they have their smart tag?
Mm-hmm.
So I brought that to the committee. We chewed it around a little bit, but what about this? What if that? What if this? And so we ended up coming up with, if they have it at the end of the day, if they still have it at the end of the day, when they're walking out the door on their neck, then they get a point for the day.
That's so cool. Because it's such a specific system that you're running. It's not like, if you see someone with their tag, give them a point. Like that wouldn't make any sense, right?
Right.
It wouldn't be consistent.
And we thought, what about when they come in the morning? Well, if they lose it at the end of the day, or 5 minutes later, but if they still have it at the end of the day, and it's real easy just to kids walk out of the room and they just show their tag.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. That's so cool.
So another one was, what about, this was the biggest one, and we're still chewing on this one. So listeners out there, if you come up with a magic solution, then you can share it with everybody, is that consistency part. So all teachers have to be in on this. So here's some scenarios that our committee has faced. I'm just going to use fifth grade. All the fifth grade teachers are giving points, but they're not actually monitoring. They're just giving the points and not watching. It wasn't fifth grade, but anyway, so we have to make sure that we follow up with each other, that if that student gets a point from going from point A to point B and they talked, then our program is for naught, right?
Because students just say, oh, okay, I mean, these are just freebies. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then if one class, we actually did have a class last year who the teacher was just overwhelmed and couldn't keep up with much at all. And those students only ended up getting 20 points for like the whole year. And they're a great group of kids, And so we had to talk at the committee about how do we balance this? How do we tell students you're still going to get to come to the points party, or you don't get any rewards this year because your teacher, we had to really answer some ethical questions there about how we handle that. And it makes it so much easier on me to roll out something when I know I've got the backing of at least one person from every team, that we chewed on this and said, no, I don't like that choice. No, I don't like this. What about that? Well, what if it happens? And once we roll it out, everybody knows there was a lot of thought that went into this.
Yeah. It's almost like your House of Representatives who are like helping, speak up for different, and then they're going back and helping communicate things out to everyone. Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk data. Have you all seen any measurable changes in the school since really putting all this hard work in?
Yes, we have. Okay, so I said that our highest places of behavior problems were hallways, specials, and recess. And I just pulled up data when we got started.
Yep.
And this year we have only had 2 incidents in the hallway. 2.
And that would be like almost like a major referral or a referral type incident.
That's a discipline referral.
A discipline referral. Yep.
Discipline referral. Actually, what's interesting is we don't have any in specials, and that was one of our biggest places. Our biggest problems also was specials. So Yeah, this has been a game changer for
That's
us.
awesome.
We have some visitors that are from the district that'll come in, and they're coming just to watch reading groups, or they're coming
Hmm.
to watch, to go to math planning or something. And they're walking through the hallways and they're going, what are y'all doing? Like they're transitioning so
Quiet
quick.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all tell them that we were coming? No, this is the way we transition. Now once they get in the classroom, watch, they're going to get loud. But yeah, I'm just looking at our data, and I'm super excited to tell our teachers that too.
So like normally at this time, what would be like a normal year, I guess, for you all in the hallway?
Yeah. So when I started looking at data, our hallway discipline referrals, I think for that year, 32, 31
Yeah, so good, up
referrals.
in the double digits. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you all. That's so cool. And hopefully that gives some good fuel for the fire of like, let's, tackle a next piece next year. You know what I mean? Like you can build on that momentum, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. The other thing too, it's not really about data, but it's just about teachers now are starting to say, well, can we start doing points in our classroom?
Ooh, they're asking. That's exciting.
Yeah, which is cool. But then again, our committee just started saying, but I teach different than you, and my partner
Mm,
teaches different than me, and I allow more things than she allows, and where's the
yeah.
consistency there? And that just was like a big bear to get the arms around, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to go there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think that's really cool because it's giving a good structure to talk about that stuff. And when the committee and everyone feels like it's time, you can go there. And if not, it's really
Right?
cool. I would love to wrap up with just like some bigger picture questions, if that's okay. So I actually want to ask about a bit of a debate in education and get your take. I know. Watch out. So on the one hand, you've got intrinsic motivation, that desire we all have to push ourselves and grow. And on the other, you have extrinsic motivation, that desire we all have to be recognized and rewarded for our hard work. In your years as an educator, just curious, anything you've come to believe about which one's more important or the role they each play in supporting students?
You got to have both. I mean, don't we show up to work because we love work? That's intrinsic, but also because money is going into our bank account, right? And so, and then if you we learn through just work that if I work hard and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna either be more successful or make money or be more responsible or whatever. We're given extrinsic motivation all the time. Like if anyone wants to look out into the parking lot, there are nice cars probably in your parking lot, and that's an extrinsic motivator, right? That I want to drive a nice car. We like nice shoes. There's so much extrinsic motivation that you can't get rid of that because that we're humans.
Mm,
That's our nature to want to work for something. But yes, it can't all be about that. I think it has to be
mm,
a good balance in that I want to feel good about myself also. I want to know that, yeah, I earned all those points. And something that I love about LiveSchool also is it's super easy to pull up on the screen, and teachers post it on their, not post it, but display it on their Promethean boards.
hmm
And so the kids that are really, everyone's got points.
Yeah, you get some
Everyone's got,
shine. You get
yeah.
some. Look at me.
And
Yeah,
yeah, the kids that have the highest points, that's a feel good moment for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And a lot of times it's the quiet kids that don't really get recognition for anything else. So I do believe that it's a little bit of both. And so, yeah, I could stand on the platform of, no, it needs to be all intrinsic. I shouldn't have to give you something to make you do a good job,
Some
right?
people do stand on that platform, as you know. Yeah,
And there's times when it does. I'm not going to give you a lollipop every time you do
yep,
something, right?
yep.
But I do need to give you something so that you know that was the right choice.
Mm,
When I was growing up, I was a quiet student and I followed the rules. I was scared to break a rule, and I didn't get recognized for any of that. I remember a few times when I would turn around to say to another little student, be quiet or stop doing that to me or whatever, and I would get in trouble.
mm,
Those stuck with me. And so giving those students who do make good choices rewards, isn't that what we want in this life? When the person who steals from me actually makes a gain off of that. That's not cool in life, right?
Yeah.
We want to instill in these kids that you do get some kind of reward
For
for
doing the
making.
right thing. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. For what it's worth, I completely agree with you. And you heard it here, folks. They go together. I've got one more big picture one, and this is a really off the wall question. But if you could put up a billboard that every assistant principal in the whole country would see every morning on their way to work, is there anything that you've learned about how to reach kids that you would want to share?
I think I would probably need 5 billboards, but I'll try to narrow it down. That I think that really that all behavior is saying something. All behavior is communicating something. And so the worst behavior, I don't know, it might be telling me that that's allowed at home and he doesn't know any different because it's okay. The subtle behaviors, the sneaky, sly behaviors, that's communicating something too. So I really think that you got to get to know the student, got to get to know the home life and what frightens them, what makes them laugh, all of those kind of things to be able to connect with them and not get. I think it's so easy to jump to conclusions of he hit that kid because he's a bad kid. I need to look at the discipline code, the student code of conduct, and whatever it says to give the consequence, that's the consequence I need to give them. And I don't agree with that. So we have a few students who've made some very poor choices that did not go to ALC, that did not get suspended. Instead they're getting some chores. Like I want you to go write 10 notes this next week to different people in your class or your teachers to say nice things to them. So just rewiring their thinking rather than constantly punishing them for doing either what their body tells them to do or what their parents allow them to do.
Laura, thank you so much. This has been really fun and really is the best part of my day. And really happy that we, played some tiny role in supporting the work that you and your team are doing. If a listener had a question or a follow-up, is there any way that they could get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm just getting going in the social media world. So the safest way right now is my email address, and it's L, my first initial, and then Spiegel, Spiegel, at lcisd.org.
All right, Laura, I can't thank you enough. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. LiveSchool. Y'all are awesome.